Only 72 drivers from X30 Junior will progress out of the 133 that have started this week. So it's very tough, and it's obviously very physical. 137, I should say, when it started the week. So Sacha Van Bosch and Cathal Clark now take up residency on the front row from Clovis Nougerade and Freddie Lloyd. Then Macaulay Bishop and Hugo Horton, Zach Green and Leo Robinson, Brandon Carr and Alexis Constant from Hugo Magnas and Dylan Visser, Romeo Roussel and Fernando Luque from Dino Strescu, and alongside him is Vilma Svan. In Connor Grant and Sky DeForney from Tobias Norman and Thomas Kinsey, Jason Bralich and CJ Bennett from Robbie Buckley and Mark Granada, Patrice Kovalevsky and Viljami Bona from Thibaut Gillard and Andrea Dupé, Alex Caralto and Oliver Ondrop from Diego Gama and Kimi Alanko, Darren McEnroe, Oscar Kyoda and Viti Vannanen complete the grid. Look how dark it's getting all of a sudden. That's not sunlight dissipating, that is cloud cover. Because it's still 4:45. It should be bright sunny skies at this point of the day. It suddenly isn't anymore. And they do say, don't they, if it ain't raining, it ain't Le Mans. This place is such an incredible pressure cooker of all sorts of difficulties, weather being just one of them. But we had a beautiful scorching summer's day in October here at lunchtime. All of a sudden that cloud cover has gathered and it's looking pretty thick and pretty ominous. So Cathal Clark and Sacha Van Bosch coming out of the final turn, hoping to be charging to the first corner. Looks as though the inside line's got a slightly better launch of it, and away we go. Good start from Van Bosch and Nougerade. Clark is trying to hold on around the outside. Watch for Macaulay Bishop and a spin in the middle of the pack. And that's 2-3 carts going off there. Once one goes, it's very difficult for everybody to avoid the spinning cart in the middle of the field. So it was always going to be thus. Oh, and two more have gone a little further round as well. That is one of the, well, that's the 339 going around there with the 359. So we've had Tobias Norman, Viljami Pauna, and then it is Orndrup and Caralto that have that spin together. But further back, we also had problems there for Mark Granada. So all sorts of difficulties there for drivers as they try and recover. But Junior X30 continuing to rage, rattle and roll. Here comes the move for second on the inside of Nougerade. So Nougerade is going to run down to second position as through comes Zach Green. So Zach Green makes his bid. And that is a very solid overtake from Zach Green to move up into second place now behind Sacha Van Bosch. So it's Van Bosch, Green, Nougerade, Carr, Clark, Lloyd and Bishop, with Robinson doing a fair job as well. Horton, Constant and Magnas from Roussel, Luque and Dylan Visser. Then Connor Grant, another good start from him, from Vilma Svan and Thomas Kinsey, Strescu, Buckley and Sky DeForney. So they are making good work of things at the moment. But Sacha Van Bosch really enjoying his run in the lead of the race here, 0.4 of a second to the advantage of Zach Green and Clovis Nougerade. So as they continue to work their craft around the course, Clovis Nougerade looking for an opportunity as the field is still very tightly matched in X30 Junior from about 4th position downwards here. As Lloyd and Robinson are dueling for P6 down to the braking zone. This isn't going to be easy to settle out. As they break through, there's a dive on the inside there from the Pirelli. That's the 436 of Hugo Magnas. So Magnas comes forward. Van Bosch in front of Green, Nougerade, Clark, Carr, Lloyd, Robinson and Macaulay Bishop from Horton, Magnas and Constant. Then it is Romeo Roussel from Luque, Visser, Grant, Kinsey, Svan, Strescu, Buckley and Kovalevsky. It is very tight as they continue to make solid progress through the middle of the gaggle. Is this going to be the overtaking move from Cathal Clark? No. He has to hang back and wait for another chance.
Another textbook amazing start there from Van Bosch. We've seen it time and time again. He's done it once more, and I'll tell you what, he's dropping off the pace just a little bit. He's always so strong off the start there, Van Bosch, but can't do anything when it starts to... Sorry, can't not do anything when it starts to go on in the race. Zach Green, though, all over the back of the Fusion driver right now. He's going to have to be careful. Is Van Bosch if he doesn't want to lose this lead right now. Green, we know he's got great pace, and he's the charging force into turn one. Goes defensive, goes Van Bosch. He could see that Green was looking to the inside. He could see that he was going to go for that inside line and go for the move. And yes, he was. So a great read there from Van Bosch to keep himself in the lead of the race. Leo Robinson, fastest lap so far. He's currently running in 7th position. But we look back up to the front, and Van Bosch holds on for another lap.
So Van der Bosch from Green, Nugeraid, Clark and Carr. Here comes Cal Clark though, making his bid on the inside of Clovis Nugeraid. Is there going to be enough there? Yes, there is. And Carr is going to squeeze it, trying to hold the position and hold him at the apex. But Clovis Nugeraid is not going to be shunted around. So Brandon Carr is going to have to try another trick. Lloyd and Robinson are in behind him. They're dueling away for 6th position. Then Macaulay Bishop way down in 8th. Now this is good news for Gabriel Stilp because Bishop is suddenly going to find himself on an 8-point score. Make that 7 because he's come back to P7 now. But he's got 7 laps to try and change that as Carr finally does get his move on Clovis Nugeraid. A good move there in the hairpin. But with Macaulay Bishop down in 7th, that's going to put him on 10 points accumulated. That'll drop him behind McLaughlin and behind Gabriel Stilp. So for the next 7 laps, Macaulay Bishop needs to be on an absolute launch through this field. As Van der Bosch leads from Green and Clark. Zach Green doing a fair job. His first major event in Europe, of course. And here he is, holding on in front of Cal Clark, a man who knows the European scene quite well now. As they continue to battle down the back straight. Past De Vieux-Chêne, the 2 old oaks, into the left-hand hairpin, through the chicane, and up to Champignon. This is not going to be easy for Sacha Van der Bosch as he holds on here in front of Green and Clark. And that sky is getting very ominous all of a sudden. 4th place for Carr, Nugeraid, Robertson, Bishop, and Van der Bosch is still defending. This is a very interesting sign from the Dutchman. He clearly doesn't feel comfortable enough in the lead of this race to stretch away and hold a decent advantage over his opposition. So Van der Bosch in front of Green and Clark. And up the inside, there's the move from Kyle Clark. Lovely overtake. Found the gap, found the pace, found the speed. A little bit of courage needed as well. And that'll do for 2nd position for Kyle Clark. Now if Zach Green is wise, he'll just slot him behind him. Oh, and Carr has now been joined by Leo Robinson. Clovis Nugeraid has dropped into 6th position, I'm afraid, for him. Macaulay Bishop is next up. In 7th position, he really needs to stay calm here. He doesn't need to do anything silly. Macaulay Bishop still has every chance of gunning for the victory, not just in the pre-final tomorrow, but also the final, even if he's down as low as P7. He just doesn't need to get himself in the hot water. Clark going for the lead on Sacha Van der Bosch. Job done. And he's through. Conor Grant has a warning flag further back. So the Irishman is clearly in defensive tactics mode. But he is still there trying to break into the top 10 with Dylan Visser, the Irishman, working his way forward. Dylan Visser is in the mix there as well, of course, the Dutchman. So they are still working their magic forward. Conor Grant battling away with Dylan Visser. In fact, Grant has now got through for 13th position, I notice. So those 2 dueling away, and that's a lovely bid on the inside from Robinson. Gets the switch there on Brandon Carr, and that'll do. Now this is a replay. This is how Clark got the lead. Textbook. No issue whatsoever.
Yeah, a little bit of a bump on the rear end there from Van der Bosch. I don't think he was expecting Clark to slow down as much as he did initially. Around the final corner, we go to wide. That's Brandon Carr, and what looks like... that's Brandon Carr leading the race. Macaulay Bishop has now managed to make his way through into what is 7th position. So Bishop is doing a good job out on the track right now. He was back in what looked like an 8th or 9th position. So just about holding on to it. Leo Robinson in 4th right now. The 407 doing a good job. He's still cutting his way through the field. But he's in 3rd now. As Zach Green is fall down in the 4th position. So still keeping it tight up at the front end. Van der Bosch hasn't fell outside of the top 2 so far this race. But is Robinson going to change that?
Oh, a little bit of banging wheels there between Magnas and Nugeraid. As they are running for 7th position. They just about got away without a big contact. But that was very tight indeed. As now Clark, Van der Bosch, Robinson and Green all having a big duel. And that's going to be a big launch from Van der Bosch on the inside of Clark. Robinson should go with him, and he does. So the 2 fusions have now got through to 1st and 2nd with 3 laps to go. This is going to be tough to know if Clark and Green will get a chance to get in there now between these 2. As Robinson has a genuine chance to go for the lead. He's actually trying to get Sacha Van der Bosch to hurry up. Come on! What are you doing? They are really tripping over each other here. Up to the top of the hairpin. This is Van der Bosch going to lose out to Robinson. Clark's going to get through. Past both. Queen trying to get in as well. Robinson will hold it. So too will the Sterling's back driver of Sacha Van der Bosch. Here comes the chance from Clark. on the inside of Zach Green. Oh, this is so tight. All four drivers very nearly ended up on the scenery there. And as a result of that, look out, boys. You've let him come back into the fight. Macaulay Bishop is now in P5. And what if he snatches it from all of them now?
Clark getting very squirmish under the brakes there as he's in behind Van Pat Bosch. You can see Green breathing down his neck. A tap on the helmet there from Clark. Let's work together, Zach. Try and push forwards and get past all of them. But Zach Green's going to do it anyways. Down the inside. He makes it past Clark. And so does Bishop. Brandon Carr trying to get involved. But he can't do anything just yet. Never mind. Yes, he can. Down the inside. Oh! There's a big contact between the two of them. And around the outside, you could see that was Clark trying to hold it. Carr was on the inside and they clip wheels through one of probably the fastest chicanes there. Probably one of the most dangerous places to have a crash. But Clark causing an incident, making contact there between him and Brandon Carr. So what happened there? We'll have to get a replay to see exactly what happened again.
We certainly will. Two cuts into too small a space as Bishop now suddenly finds himself in third position. Talk about the comeback, kid. Macaulay Bishop is suddenly in a position now to go joint top with Finn McLaughlin on 6 points apiece. And all of that has meant that Leo Robertson now has a 7/10 advantage over Sacha Van der Bosch. And it looks like it's all game over. What a dramatic incident that was between Cathal Clark and Brandon Carr. Carr has rejoined in 21st. Clark has rejoined in 9th. But neither driver's going to get on the top spot now. Macaulay Bishop might just do that from third position in this race. He's only going to drop 3 points. And that'll put him level with Finn McLaughlin on 6 apiece. So then the pressure ends up being on Finn McLaughlin in his heat to definitely take the win to secure it. But Leo Robinson, the young man from Algeria, a great performance from him in this one. He just took it one at a time and he's got the victory. Great run from Leo Robinson. Sacha Van der Bosch second. Macaulay Bishop a great comeback in third. But Leo Robinson was the smartest, the wisest, and the most calculated and tactical out there. A great run from Leo Robinson. Absolutely the victory he deserves. That was absolutely superb. And Leo Robinson making it look fairly clinical in the end of it all. Managing to lead home his teammate Sacha Van der Bosch, and Macaulay Bishop, who was down in 7th position at one point, suddenly fights his way back to 3rd. So the pressure is now going to be on the shoulders of Finn McLaughlin, who is going to have a very hard job to win his heat later. If he takes the win, by the way, Finn McLaughlin, then he will be the interim leader. Let's look at this incident again. And this is going to be... Now, this isn't quite the incident we're looking at. This is how Robinson got the lead. But he opened the door there. Look at Clark and Green. They managed to get very close to it. And we very nearly had a 4-car accident there. Look at how much space they just about give each other there. That was very nicely handled. And this is the moment. Boom. As Clark decided, well, I'm going to stay in front of Carr. Carr committed to it as well. And 2 drivers, too small a space. Very, very tricky situation. It's tough to know who to blame for that one. The stewards will have their version of the story. I'm sure both drivers will have their own version as well. But there's the provisional result. Robinson from Van der Bosch, Bishop from Green, Magnas Constant, Lloyd, Russell and Cathal Clark. Then it is Clovis Nougerade from Conor Grant, Patrice Kovalevsky, who made up 13 places, by the way. Great run from him. Fernando Luque and Luca Horton. Dylan Visser in 15th from Thomas Kinsey. Then Dino Storescu and Sky DeForney from Jason Bralich. And then it is Mark Granada from Thibaut Gillard, Tobias Norman and Brandon Carr, CJ Bennett and Diego Gama from Vitti Vananen, and Andrea Dupé, Vilma Svan, Alex Caralto, and Kimi Alanko